What is up, everybody? It is your girl Nia, the video game her, and I am doing a live video right now. I guess in a way I'm kind of blowing off some steam because I I have a very important exam to take tomorrow, and I just feel like I need to come on and like talk about something that's gonna kind of take me off the edge and help me chill a little bit. And of course, that is generally video games. So I wanted to come on today and kind of talk about some E3 related stuff. Hold on, let me get this screen at the top here so it's not kind of obstructing the view of me. Let's see, how can I do this? All right, so as you guys know, Reggie came out and he said some more things about E3. And I want to make sure y'all see this. Let me see. I want you guys to read it as I'm reading it, and I'm kind of doing this as an impromptu type of video. I actually don't have any kind of script or any outline or things kind of written to kind of keep my thoughts. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, off the dome. You feel me? Um, so let's get started. So Reggie, he came out and he said some things about a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago, it was his birthday, and he also had an interview with Fox News, and they talked a little bit about E3. So in this article here, I'm reading it from my Nintendo News right now, and it says that this is the first time, I guess, that they have officially talked about their E3 plans, even though he didn't really specify anything in typical Reggie fashion. This is kind of what he does, right? So according to the interview, this is what he said. We're going to have a big E3 this year. He says Nintendo will be showcasing a variety of games. And although Reggie didn't say he won't reveal what they are. However, he did say that E3 will be a major opportunity for us to showcase not only Nintendo Switch, but also content coming to Nintendo 3DS. Nothing was said about how they will be presenting these games, but this is likely because the company is waiting until later. So I don't know if you guys have been hearing about that or whatever, but a lot of people are like really upset about the fact that he specifically talked about the Nintendo 3DS. And to be honest, I don't know why people take Reggie seriously. Like my homeboy D2K Prime says, like Reggie Fils-Aimé is the very definition of a snake oil salesman. He's gonna sell whatever his company tells him to sell. At this point, Reggie has kind of become like a PR puppet for Nintendo, and sometimes I kind of question like what exactly is it that he even does at Nintendo anymore. I mean, Reggie's just real questionable. That's all I would say about that. But a lot of people are really upset about the whole 3DS part. And I guess I kind of see why. Like if the Nintendo Switch's main attraction is the fact that it is a hybrid console. You can hook it up to the dock and play your games on the TV, and then you can also take it off the dock and play it on the go. That kind of renders the 3DS irrelevant. And a lot of people are kind of hoping that this is another situation like how back in the day with the Nintendo Directs for the Wii U, where they would say that the Direct is supposed to be for Wii U and 3DS, but we all knew that when it actually came to the Direct itself, it was mostly 80% 3DS and like 20% Wii U. So that was a cause of frustration for a lot of Nintendo fans, myself included. And while I do own and I do love my 3DS, it was a little frustrating having this new device, relatively new, because I mean it was early when the writing was kind of on the wall for the Wii U. Like we kind of knew early on that they were getting ready to ditch that whole entire concept altogether. It was a frustrating time to be a Nintendo fan, and a lot of people, when they read the part about how he was saying and for the 3DS, it was kind of making some people relive those moments. But I'm personally of the opinion that I think that after this year, if the Nintendo Switch really does take off, then we're going to be seeing no more Nintendo made 3DS games. We might see like some small, third party games like indies. We might see some Japanese third party games, but as far as Nintendo themselves supporting the 3DS, I think that that's kind of over and done with after this year. And just kind of based off of the launch of the Nintendo Switch, it's been pretty good for Nintendo. It's been selling really well. There seems to be a lot of demand around it, and they're even having a hard time keeping it in stock. So this can only go up from here, but only if Nintendo keeps up that momentum. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is how Nintendo can keep up that momentum, and what I personally would like to see in order for Nintendo to kind of keep up this momentum. But before I start, shout outs to chocolate covered peanuts. These are like the business, okay? Like, I've been munching on these chocolate covered peanuts all day today. These things are literally life, you feel me? So I just have to get that out there, let you guys know what's going on. But this here article that you see me posted on this side of the screen, it's another article from Nintendo Life about Nintendo's show floor plan for E3 2017. So just like years prior, Nintendo's got some pretty sizable space mapped out and things that they have already prearranged for E3. And generally, when you see a lot of E3 floor space, you assume that that means that there's going to be a lot of games shown. But we have seen in years past from Nintendo, who has tend to have a sizable floor space, that doesn't always mean anything. Because before we found out that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was essentially like the main game they were going to be showing at last year's E3, there was another article that came out prior to that also said that Nintendo had a lot of show floor space, and lo and behold, it's because they used that show floor space to essentially recreate the feeling and the atmosphere of Breath of the Wild on the show floor, even though Zelda was basically like the only game that they showed. So show floor space doesn't mean anything. And I know that's like a little sidebar comment. That's not really like the topic that I want to talk about, show floor space, but mostly just kind of using it as a precursor to what I'm gonna say. So, Nintendo's E3, like the title says, like Nintendo's E3 has to be big. Like, it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, well, it has to be big because I'm a super fan, It has to be big because the Nintendo Switch is a great system, like, and while I am those things, and I do agree with that statement, like, Nintendo's E3 is like the make or break for them. Like, it is going to be the pivotal moment in their storied history that is really going to show to people the direction that they are going to be going forward with in gaming. I mean, when you have this hat is G, thanks Jason Howard, this is my Sheikah hat. I did have it like this, like at first, but I was like, I don't know, that might be too tomboy for y'all. Some of y'all freak out about stuff like that. But like, this is going to be a pivotal moment for Nintendo, because if you guys have been watching my videos, I've been giving you guys a lot of my theories about Nintendo's hardware space. Like, for example, I just recently said that I think that after this year, Nintendo 3DS is going to be done. It's old now. It's about 6 years old now, I think. They said on Twitter as of today or yesterday, something like that. It's old. It's time for the 3DS to retire. And not only is it time for the 3DS to retire, I think that Nintendo is actually going to retire the 3DS and the DS brand, and also their handhelds. They're going to do away with their handhelds, and I think that they're going to be doing the whole hybrid format going forward. I think that this right here is Nintendo's future. You know what I mean? Like, I've mentioned this before numerous times on my channel that I think that going forward, Nintendo is really trying to make sure that they are increasing their profit margins. And for them, increasing their profit margins began when they decided to merge their handheld and their console divisions in 2013. And, ultimately coming up with the idea of a hybrid console, a console that can do both, and one console that Nintendo has to support. So no more supporting both a handheld and a console, but one device that can do it all. I think that's Nintendo's format going forward. And I think that this E3, they're going to have to show and prove that this is an idea that can work for them and that it's something that people can get behind. Because, right now, the Nintendo Switch is in a very interesting it's in a very interesting position. It's in a position to where people want it. People are excited about the actual device itself, but there's still so many holes in their plans for how they plan on using some of the hardware and the tech inside of this thing. We know that Nintendo has been going like beast mode in their advertising. That has been absolutely phenomenal for them. It's been very effective for them, and I hope that going forward they continue that. It's been very aggressive. I hope that they continue this aggressive marketing. The games that are slated for the Nintendo Switch, although at launch I have to admit it's a little sparse, but the games that will be coming for it this year are going to be some of Nintendo's most interesting games for a first year in a long time. You've got Zelda that just came out. You've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that's coming out next month. You've got ARMS, a new IP that actually looks pretty interesting, and an IP that Nintendo doesn't really delve into, the fighting genre. You've got Splatoon 2 coming up. You've got Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You've got Fire Emblem Warriors, and then a new Fire Emblem coming in 2018 that's going to be on a console, and we haven't seen a console Fire Emblem in a long time. And then there's also like some other offerings, like some of the Japanese third-party RPGs that are be coming to the Switch. That some of the things that the Nintendo handheld people tend to kind of delve into and kind of get into. So there's some things about the Switch that have me excited, but then there's a lot of question marks. Like, has Nintendo learned with their online? Have they learned when it comes down to the third party and how companies tend to do certain things on within their ecosystem that they don't do elsewhere? Like, for example, one of the things that's kind of like a big sore spot for me is how some of these third party games that are coming out here recently on the Switch that are multi-platform, like they're on some other device, they're $10 more expensive on the Switch. And I feel that is a huge knock against the Switch, and it's something that Nintendo really needs to address. And I really hope that it's something that is addressed before or during E3. Hopefully at E3 they show us some third-party offerings that aren't trying to continue that practice, because it seems like it's already so early in the Switch's lifespan, and then you already got these developers that are already kind of like screwing over the Nintendo consumer. Like, for example, we had a news report today where the people who made Lego City Undercover, like the remaster that's coming to the Nintendo Switch, like it's going to be like a terrible version, right? A terrible port. And then there's going to be like a 13 gigabyte install because they decided to go cheap on the cartridge and then have the rest of the game be downloadable through a 13 gigabyte patch. To me, that is insane. And a part of me wonders if that's something that Nintendo needs to deal with. I mean, Nintendo is essentially the reason why the cartridge format is a part of the Switch. And if developers are having to go out of their way to get these games on cartridges to run on the system, that's a problem. And that's something that Nintendo needs to address. They need to come on stage at E3 and show us some third-party games coming to the Switch that aren't screwing us over with these prices. They're not screwing us over with issues coming to the Switch because of cartridges. And if the cartridges are that much more expensive than discs, then Nintendo needs to bite that cost, and they need to show and prove it with people actually coming on stage and supporting them and actually giving us parity, at least like, parity. And of course it's not going to look the same, but at least parity with like cost, like parity with content and things of that nature. Like, that needs to be addressed, like hard body. Also, the fact that they need to make sure that they have these third-party games coming, whether they're exclusive third-party games or they're multi-platform games. I think that another thing that Nintendo necessarily has to address is, like, I know a lot of people really get sick and tired of me talking about this, but Nintendo has to address online. I would prefer them to talk about it before E3. But if E3 is, has come and passed by the time that they have a chance to talk about it, they definitely need to quell some of the hesitant feelings that a lot of gamers have when it comes down to their online. With the Switch, there's no online like features. Like, you can play games online. Like, for example, we just played the Splatoon 2 test fire online, which is dope. You can play Bomberman online. You can play I Am Setsuna co-op online. It's the only version of that game that has co-op online, but there's no features. Like, we can't message our friends yet on the Switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no party chat option yet on the Switch. There's no nothing. There's no activity feed. There's no trophies and achievements. Anything that kind of has some kind of online interaction outside of the games themselves having some type of PvP mode or something. There's nothing. And Nintendo has to prove that they can not only be modern in the way that they built the thing, because the way that it's built, the build quality is very modern. It's a very sleek machine, very fast machine. But when it comes down to that online, that's still a big question mark. And that's something that Nintendo absolutely has to address at E3. They have to show us, how's this online going to work? There's this thing on the website that talks about this online chat app through smartphones. They have to talk about, is this the way to communicate online, or is it just a companion app? Like, they have to be very clear and very specific about everything. Also, although we know about the games lineup for 2017, and there's a lot of good stuff coming for 2017, Nintendo really has to talk about what's coming beyond 2017. The best way that Nintendo can keep momentum is to kind of let people know, hey, this ain't coming for a little while, but we want to let you know that it's in the pipeline. Because I know a lot of people get on like companies like Sony for talking about stuff that's not coming, it's a way out, but it also gives people to have something to look forward to. Like, not saying that you have to blow your load. You don't have to tell everything that's coming out up until like 2020, but people have to know what's coming up. Like, say at E3, I hope this is a thing. Retro Studios, don't disappoint me. But let's say that E3 comes, right? And they do a teaser trailer for Metroid. Even if Metroid isn't coming into like 2019, that gives people something to look forward to. You know what I mean? And I think that Nintendo in recent time has been on the mindset that they're not going to talk to us about games unless they're going to be coming within at least the next year or, sooner. And I respect that, because, you want to make sure that, one, you're not blowing your load. And then two, people know that these games are coming sooner than later. But at the same time, it was like, give us a couple of things to look forward to far out in the future, because that kind of stuff builds hype. It builds momentum. It gives people some kind of, it gives people some kind of like tunnel into your future for your device. They know that when you're telling us things like that you have a plan of what you're going to be doing next, and you're not just doing things on a whim. Because I feel like sometimes with the Wii U, to me, it felt like sometimes Nintendo was kind of doing things on a whim, like they had no clear direction. And so far with the Nintendo Switch, you know, the way that they've been advertising it, they've been kind of showing me that they do have somewhat of a direction, but kind of the other stuff that they're quiet about, like for example, again, the online, they're so quiet about the online, right? Like it makes me wonder if even they know what's gonna be in the online, or if maybe they're still working on it and they're still trying to get it together for us. I don't know what's going on with that, but they need to talk about it. Again, going back to Retro Studios needs to show their game. We can't go through another E3 with a lackluster ending because, you know, Nintendo is still being too tight-lipped. I think it's time for us to know exactly what Retro Studios is working on, whether that's a new Metroid or whether there's a new IP that they are making, or maybe they're working on an existing Nintendo IP like Star Tropics and adding their own twist to it. I would love that. Um, Also, you know, there was this big report about Pokemon. They need to at least give us a hint that Pokemon is coming to the Switch, because that's guaranteed sales already. Like Pokemon is like guaranteed Switch hardware sales. Like that has to happen. Um and they have, and whenever they do show off the third party stuff, like I mentioned, like they have to show us some third party exclusives, because I think that the writing is pretty much on the wall for the Switch and Nintendo going forward. They're not focused on power. Until power becomes something that is within a immediate financial grasp for them, I think that they're gonna focus on kind of being a little bit behind the curve as far as tech is concerned, because it's easier on their wallets and it's less time consuming for them. And I respect that. I don't have a problem with that. So that's why I think that they really need to focus on exclusive third party games. Like for the Wii, for example, the Wii was like mad underpowered. And it got some third party multiplats like your Call of Duties, like Madden and stuff like that. But where the Wii to me really shined was the third party exclusives like Red Steel, like freaking that Miramasa the Demon Blade game, like I'm having a brain fart right now. But there was like a lot of really dope third party exclusives on the Wii, because the Wii sold so well, it was such a standout hit, but it was too weak to run some of the more, you know, intensive like graphical games. But it sold well enough and it had a good enough attach rate to where these third party developers were willing to make, you know, differential software for it. And I'm hoping that with the Nintendo Switch, we see a lot of games like that. You know, I would like to see more Red Steels, more Bayonettas, more whatever, more Warriors games, whatever, right? And I do hope that they at least get like the big third parties. Like I want them to get Call of Duty back. That's a big game. I want them to get the sports games. Those bring in a lot of casual gamers. And I don't mean casual in like a disrespectful way, but the people that only game every once in a while, or they only play like 2 or 3 games a year and things like that. Games like that are what Nintendo needs to be seen as relevant again in the eyes of the general consumer. And Nintendo has to make sure that they're working hard with these developers to make sure that that becomes a reality. But they gotta address the cartridge thing, because at first I thought that it was like an isolated incident with the Rime developers, but it's now happened with the Lego City Undercover game. They're not charging us more than the other platforms, which I commend them on, but they did cheap out on the carts, and they're making us install the rest of the game onto our Switch. There's a problem there. This cartridge situation could be more than Nintendo is willing to let on. It's happened with Puyo Puyo Tetris. It's going to be $10 more on the Switch. I don't know if that's a cartridge thing or if it's because they see that there's a demand for the Switch, so they want to try to charge more. I don't know what's going on with that. It's happening right now again with that Minecraft story mode, right? It's happening with that. Like, it's kind of becoming a thing where I'm starting to see a pattern, and it's making me worry, and it's bringing me to the Wii U all over again. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of circumstances around the Switch that are not like the Wii U. First of all, people actually want it. Okay, nobody wanted the Wii U except for Nintendo diehards, right? The Switch has a gimmick that's easy to understand. That's not really like a gimmick, but more like an option of how you want to play. That's pretty much the gimmick of the system. Three, it's got a good first year. The Wii U had an okay launch, but it had nothing until like the next year almost with freaking Pikmin 3. You know what I mean? Like, there's differences there with the way that they're launching, the momentum, the advertising, but then you also have this bogus stuff with the online and the cartridges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like Nintendo has to reel it in, because right now I'm feeling good about the device itself, but I'm also feeling uneasy about some stuff. Like, they gotta make sure that they bring it in full circle and they show us what is their vision going forward with this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know that Nintendo isn't just throwing gum at the wall at this point, and this E3 is going to essentially cement their ideals of what they're going to be doing with this device and how they're going to be operating going forward. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my thoughts. If you guys have any like comments or something that I missed in the comment section or questions and stuff, I will go ahead and take those now. It's an interesting situation, man. Like, I love my Switch, but Nintendo has to address so much stuff. They just have to. You know, I'm just saying. What does Arfan Ali say? He said, I think these devs are being greedy. Has-been Heroes is $20, physical and digital. They're a small-time dev. Yeah, Arfan, a part of me feels like it's that. But the more and more and more I see the same topic coming up, it's making me wonder if there is more than meets the eye about this whole cartridge thing. Like, I'm really curious to know how much more expensive the cartridge manufacturing costs is versus Blu-ray discs. I'm very curious to know just how much more expensive they are to mass produce. Because I was always under the impression that they were very expensive back in the day, the Nintendo 64 era, right? But as time has progressed, they're not as expensive to manufacture as they once were. So it just kind of makes me wonder, like, what's the truth? Like, what is the truth? You see, Cherry Man video says, bingo, people have been sleeping on the Wii. I still have mine I enjoyed. No More Heroes. Yes, No More Heroes. That's one that I forgot. Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Well, that was on the GameCube. I don't know if that counts. And Manhunt 2. Yes, those are some great examples of third-party exclusive games that were on the Wii and that were very good. Brother Feet says, oh wow, I didn't know you were a cutie. This is the first time I'm seeing you. Really? You've never seen me on cam before? I appreciate the compliment though, fam. Let's see. What do you think about left Joy-Con with the D-pad is on the top? The left Joy-Con? The D-pad is not on the top. And the analog stick is on the bottom. This is the left Joy-Con, fam. The D-pad is on the bottom. I don't know. Maybe you meant that reverse? I don't know. Let's see. Are they the same size as the cartridge for the Vita? They look like they're about the same size as Vita cartridges, but don't quote me on that because I don't have a Vita. So I've never seen a Vita up close. But I can tell you that they are about the size of an SD card, except for on the slimmer side. I can actually show you right now while I'm here on camera. So this is Breath of the Wild on cartridge, right? And then this is your standard SD card. So I'm going to put them on top of each other so you can kind of see the width. So they're about the same length, right? But as far as length is concerned, the Nintendo Switch cartridge is slimmer than your typical SD card. So you could kind of use that as like a gauge of measurement. See, Minecraft Mojang made enough with that franchise. They should be able to manage what cartridge costs. Yeah, I know some of these bigger companies is kind of questionable. Cause it's like I feel like if you're a big company, you should be able to like eat the cost. But at the same time, though, since Nintendo was the one who set the format, a part of me believes that Nintendo should be the ones who are eating the cost. I feel like Nintendo should be the ones buying these things in bulk and selling them to third-party developers at a very good cost that benefits, both them as well as Nintendo. Because if this is something that's a problem, this is going to hinder how many games come to the system. I don't care how easy to develop for the Switch is and how cheap the dev kits are. If this is a problem, this is going to deter a lot of people. Like, that's just keeping it real. Let's see. Talking about SD card size, the Switch tablet is the same as a Switch game, a cartridge box. Is it? Is it really about the same size as the cartridge box? Let me see. Let me check it out. Let's see real quick. Let's see. The Switch is the same size as the box. Let's see. This is the Zelda box. You know what? You're right. It's just a little bit slimmer than the actual Switch box. That's crazy. I never realized that before. Let's see. I never realized that before. That's cool. I never realized that. Let's see. If Yakuza and Yamauchi were still running Nintendo, they would have told the devs to shut up and be quiet. But you know what? Respect to Yamauchi. You feel me? He's done a lot of great things for Nintendo. He was like a very strict businessman. But Yamauchi is the reason why a lot of third-party developers stopped rocking with Nintendo, because he was too strict and he prevented them from doing a lot of stuff that they wanted to do. I mean, we ended up with quality games, but at the same time, his ideals were so off-putting that people decided to move on to other consoles. And that is how Nintendo lost third-party support. So Yamauchi is the one who got the ball rolling on that. So take that how you will. Let's see. It costs about $60 for a pack of CDs, but an SD card costs the same price. Well, CDs and DVDs, CDs are cheaper than DVDs. Like Blu-ray discs anyway. But then again, that's just the cost for consumers. Like for companies, getting these things in a bulk prices will obviously differ than what your typical consumer would pay. MVP, what up, fam? Where you from? We need our chat room. We talk about games and life. I'm from Texas. Let's see. Yes, Nintendo also needs to address the YouTube copyright situation. Thank you, Mika. That is a very good point. They have to address that, because you know that they said that they're going to be adding video capture to the Switch. They have to address the YouTube copyright claims, like the freaking content matching and all that. They got to address that. See, we need that Monster Hunter. I guarantee you we're getting a Monster Hunter on the Switch at some point, either this year or next year. Mark my words. Shout outs to Pac-Man's dad for the follow. I appreciate it, fam. Let's see. I'm still amazed how big a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild can fit on a small card. Yeah, Zelda is a huge game. But here's the thing with cartridges that people don't really even pay attention to. Cartridges have the ability to hold almost infinite data. So it makes sense for Nintendo to go with cartridges. But I'm just, questioning what is that manufacturing cost like? Like, how much more expensive is it? Let's see. First time I heard the name Tamika after Easy E. What up, Lisa Howard? How you doing? All right, you guys. I gotta get ready to go to sleep soon. SD cards are honestly not as expensive for the consumer as they used to be. And remember, the cost of things that consumers pay is not the cost of things that companies pay for the same item. Like, consumers pay way much more money for items than companies do when they're buying them in bulk. We spend a lot more money than what a lot of these things are worth. So I want y'all to think about that. For example, like, we might pay, like, I don't know, let's say that we are paying, for example, $60 for controllers. But it don't cost $60 for parts to put a controller together. That's just a price that we pay. But these manufacturers are not paying that amount of money to get these controllers made in bulk. That's what I'm telling you. Like, it's completely different depending on what side of the spectrum you're on. Company, manufacturer, consumer. What are y'all talking about now? Agree. Follow the money, and if we make less money, they may not be there. Are you going to try Has Been Heroes? I think I'll get Has Been Heroes at some point, but to be honest with you guys, I ain't got money like that. So I'm not going to be able to buy every game like day one. Like, some games I won't be able to buy for a while. Let's see. It's just amazing. It's a pretty lady into gaming with swag. There's a lot of people like me in this community, fam. I got homegirls that are into gaming just as much as me. My homie Tamika Meek, she's in the chat right now. My homegirl Coupon, my homegirl Crunk Girl 711, Miss K, Fly Girl Gaming, Aircuts for the Win. I got a lot of homegirls. Red Infamy, my homegirl Mama Sita, aka Classy Gamer Gals. Go check out all these chicks, yo. They are hard body into this gaming thing. Let's see, it costs to pay the people who put the controller together. Yeah, true. But they still not paying as much as we are to get the stuff made. Some of those are the worst, do crazy things for views. Nah, not the chicks I roll with. I roll with a lot of cool, just down-to-earth chicks like me. Let's see. Feel your net, had to wait to trade all my Wii stuff just to get the Switch. Bro, I traded so much stuff to get it. Like, all together for my Switch and my Pro Controller, I paid like $20 of like my own money. Let's see. Homegirl Coupon, she better help you get some of those cakes you wanted to cheat. Yo, my homegirl Coupon be on these deals and stuff. Like, she be letting me know what's going on. Y'all are funny, man. But thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short right here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter before I go. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheVideoGamHer. Don't forget to like this video and share this video if you liked it. Don't forget to follow me if you're watching this on Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube right now. And if you are watching this on Twitch and YouTube, don't forget to hit the notifications button because it lets you know when I'm streaming or when I make a video, like a pre-rendered video and things like that. And it kind of keeps you guys in the loop about what it is that I'm doing and what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Y'all be easy. Take care. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.